My name is Isabella. My parents said he was a good man. When he walked into the room, I knew my life was over. My old life was simple. I lived in a small village. The houses were close together. Everyone knew my name. I knew their names, too. My father was a farmer. He worked in the fields every day. My mother took care of our home. We had a small house. It was not big, but it was full of love. I had two younger brothers. They made a lot of noise, but I loved them. I had a dream. It was a small dream. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to teach the children in my village. I loved books. Books were my friends. They took me to different places. I wanted to give that gift to other children. My parents knew my dream. They said, "Isabella, you are smart. You can do anything." They worked hard to send me to the village school. I was so happy there. One evening, my parents called me. They looked very serious. My heart felt heavy. I knew something was wrong. My father did not look at me. My mother held my hand. Her hand was cold. "Isabella," she said, "a man wants to marry you." I did not understand. Marry me? I was only 18. I wanted to study more. I wanted to be a teacher. I said, "No, I don't want to get married." My father finally looked at me. His eyes were sad. "We have no choice," he said. "The crops were bad this year. We have no money. This man is rich. He is from a good family. He can help us. He can help your brothers." I felt a tear run down my face. "But I don't know him," I whispered. "He is a good man," my mother said again. "His name is Daniel. He lives in the city. He will give you a good life." A good life? What was a good life? Was it a big house and nice clothes? My life in the village was good. I had my family. I had my dreams. Now everything was going away. They were selling my dreams for money. I was angry. But I saw the sadness in my parents' eyes. They were not doing this to hurt me. They were doing this to survive. I looked at my small home. I thought about my brothers. Their future was important. I closed my eyes. I said, "Okay, I will do it." I never saw a picture of him. My parents only told me his name, Daniel. The name felt strange in my mouth. They said he was 30 years old. He was a businessman. His parents were friends with my grandparents long ago. That was the only connection. The day of the wedding came so fast. I did not want it to come. I wore a white dress. It was a beautiful dress. My mother made it for me. But I did not feel beautiful. I felt like a doll with no feelings. My friends from the village came. They looked happy for me. They did not know how I felt inside. I smiled for them, but my smile was empty. I stood in the small village church. I waited for him. I waited for the man named Daniel. People started to whisper. Then the door opened. A man walked in. He was tall. He wore a dark suit. He had dark hair and serious eyes. He did not smile. He walked to the front of the church. He stood next to me. He did not look at me. I could feel my heart beating so fast. It felt like a drum, a sad drum. This was him. This was Daniel, my husband. The ceremony was short. I said, "I do." My voice was small. I did not recognize my own voice. He said, "I do." His voice was deep and steady. He put a cold ring on my finger. And just like that, I was married. I was Mrs. Isabella, but I was not me anymore. After the wedding, there was a small party. I sat next to him at a long table. We did not talk. He ate his food slowly. He looked at the people around us, but he never looked at me. I felt invisible. I felt like a ghost at my own wedding. My family tried to talk to him. He was polite. He answered their questions, but he did not say much. Then it was time to leave. I had to say goodbye to my family. This was the hardest part. I hugged my mother. She was crying. "Be happy, my child," she whispered. I hugged my father. He held me tight. "He will take care of you," he said. I hugged my little brothers. They did not understand. They just wanted me to stay. My heart broke into a million pieces. I got into a big black car. I had never been in such a car before. It was dark inside. Daniel got in on the other side. The car started to move. I looked out the window. I saw my family. I saw my village. I saw my whole life getting smaller and smaller. Then it was gone. The car ride was long. We drove for hours. The sun went down. The world outside became dark. The silence in the car was heavy. I wanted to say something. I wanted to ask, "Where are we going?" But I was too scared. His face was like a stone. No feelings, no smile, nothing. Finally, we arrived in the city. The city was so different from my village. There were so many lights, so many tall buildings, so many cars. It was loud. It was scary. We stopped in front of a very big house. It was not a house. It was a mansion. It had a big gate. The gate opened slowly. The car drove inside. The house was dark. A woman opened the door. She was older. She wore a black dress. "Welcome, Mr. Daniel. Welcome, Mrs. Daniel," she said. Her voice was flat. Daniel got out of the car. He walked into the house. He did not wait for me. I felt so small. I got out of the car and followed him. Inside the house was huge. The floor was shiny marble. There was a big staircase. Everything was cold and empty. It did not feel like a home. It felt like a museum. The older woman showed me to my room. "This is your room, madam," she said. My room, not our room. My room. The room was bigger than my entire house in the village. It had a huge bed with white sheets. It had a big window. I looked out the window. I could only see more dark buildings. The woman left. I was alone. I sat on the edge of the bed. The bed was soft, but I felt no comfort. I was in a strange house in a strange city with a strange man, a man who was my husband. I started to cry. I cried for my home. I cried for my family. I cried for my lost dreams. After some time, I heard a knock on the door. My heart jumped. The door opened slowly. It was him. It was Daniel. He walked into the room. He stood there by the door. He just looked at me. His eyes were dark. I could not read them. I could not breathe. This was it. This was my new life. This was my first night. I looked at his serious face, and I knew my life was over. The life of Isabella, the girl from the village, was finished. He did not move closer. He just stood there. I thought he would be angry because I was crying, but he said nothing. The silence was so loud. My whole body was shaking. I was so scared. I did not know what he wanted. Then he spoke. His voice was quiet. "You are tired," he said. "You should rest." That was all he said. He did not come near me. He did not touch me. He just looked at me for one more moment. Then he turned around, he walked out of the room, he closed the door softly behind him. I sat on the bed, confused. I expected something else. I expected anger. I don't know what I expected, but not this. Not this cold quiet. I was alone again. I did not know where he went. I did not know where he would sleep. I was in this giant room all by myself. I cried myself to sleep in the big, empty bed. The next morning, I woke up early. The sun was coming through the big window. For a moment, I forgot where I was. I thought I was in my small room in the village. Then I remembered. My heart felt heavy again. I got out of bed. I found some simple clothes in my bag. I went downstairs. The house was so quiet. It was like no one lived here. I found the kitchen. The older woman from last night was there. Her name was Martha. She was the housekeeper. "Good morning, madam," she said. She did not smile. "Good morning," I replied. My voice was a whisper. "Mr. Daniel has already left for work. He leaves at 6 every morning. He comes back late. I will prepare your breakfast." He was already gone. I felt a little relief, but I also felt more alone. I ate breakfast by myself at a huge dining table. I was the only person in the room. The food was good, but I could not taste it. I missed my mother's cooking. I missed eating with my family. The days started to pass like this. Each day was the same. I woke up alone. I ate alone. I walked around the big, empty house alone. Daniel left before I woke up. He came home after I was in my room. Sometimes I heard him come in. I heard his footsteps on the marble floor, but I did not see him. We lived in the same house, but we lived in different worlds. I felt like a prisoner in a golden cage. I had beautiful clothes, I had good food, but I was not happy. I was so lonely. I missed my home. I missed the sun and the fields. I missed talking to people. Martha did not talk much. She just did her work. 1 week passed, then 2 weeks. I did not see my husband. I only heard him. I started to think he did not want to see me. Maybe he was ashamed of me. I was a simple village girl. I was not a sophisticated city woman. Maybe he regretted marrying me. One evening, I was in the library. This house had a library. It was my favorite room. It was full of books, so many books. I was looking at the books. I touched their spines. They were my only friends in this house. The door opened. I turned around. It was Daniel. He was home early. I was so surprised to see him. My heart started to beat fast again. He looked tired. He loosened his tie. He saw me and stopped. "Hello," he said. His voice was low. "Hello," I said back. We stood there in silence. It was awkward. I did not know what to say. He looked at the book in my hand. "Do you like to read?" he asked. I nodded. "Yes, very much." He walked over to a shelf. He took out a book. "This is a good one," he said. He gave it to me. I looked at the cover. It was a book of poems. I loved poems. "Thank you," I said. He just nodded. Then he left the room. It was a short conversation, only a few words, but it was the first real conversation we had. He gave me a book. It was a small thing, but it meant something to me. It showed me he saw me. He knew I was there. After that day, small things started to change. I started leaving a light on in the hallway for him so he would not come home to a dark house. I asked Martha what he liked to eat. I started to cook for him. Sometimes I would leave his dinner on the table. When I woke up in the morning, the plate would be empty. He never said anything, but I knew he ate the food I made. One day, I was in the garden. The house had a beautiful garden, but it was not well kept. The flowers were dying. I loved flowers. In my village, I had a small garden. I decided to take care of this garden. I started to work in the garden every day. I pulled the weeds, I watered the plants. It was hard work. My hands got dirty, but I felt happy. I felt useful. I was creating something beautiful. One evening, Daniel came home and found me in the garden. The sun was setting. I did not hear him coming. "The garden looks nice," he said. I jumped. I turned around. He was standing there. He was watching me. "Thank you," I said. I felt my cheeks get warm. "I like gardening." "My mother loved this garden," he said. His voice was soft. He was looking at the roses. "She passed away a few years ago. After that, no one took care of it." It was the first time he told me something personal, something about his family. I saw a little bit of sadness in his eyes. For the first time, I saw him not as a scary stranger, but as a person with feelings, a person with a past. "I am sorry," I said. He looked at me. "Don't be. You are bringing it back to life. Thank you." He stayed there for a few minutes. We watched the sunset together. We did not talk, but the silence was different this time. It was not a heavy silence. It was a peaceful silence. Life in the big house started to feel less lonely. Daniel started to come home earlier. We started to eat dinner together. At first, we ate in silence. It was still awkward. I was shy, he was quiet. But slowly, we started to talk. I told him about my village. I told him about my family. I told him about my dream of becoming a teacher. He listened. He listened carefully. He asked me questions. He wanted to know about my life. He started to tell me about his life, too. He told me about his work. It was a big company. His father started it. Now he was in charge. It was a lot of pressure. He worked all the time. He did not have many friends. I realized he was lonely too, just like me. We were two lonely people in a big house. We were strangers, but we were starting to become friends. One night, there was a big storm. The wind was so strong. The rain was hitting the windows. There was loud thunder and lightning. I was always scared of storms. In my village, I would hide in my mother's arms. But now, I was alone in my big room. A loud clap of thunder shook the house. I screamed. I put my head under the pillows. I was shaking. I felt like a little child. A few minutes later, I heard a soft knock on my door. The door opened. It was Daniel. He was holding a candle. The power was out. "Are you okay?" he asked. He could see I was scared. I could not speak. I just nodded. He came and sat on the edge of my bed. He did not touch me. He just sat there. "It's just a storm," he said. "It will pass." He stayed with me. He talked to me in a calm voice. He told me a story from his childhood. He told me he was also scared of storms when he was a boy. He stayed in my room until the storm passed. His presence made me feel safe. I was not scared anymore. When I fell asleep, he was still there. When I woke up the next morning, he was gone. But I felt different. Something had changed between us. He was not just my husband. He was my protector. He was my friend. Our relationship continued to grow. Slowly, day by day, we started to laugh together. He had a nice laugh. It made his serious face look so different, so handsome. I started to enjoy our dinners. I looked forward to seeing him at the end of the day. He saw how much I loved books. One day, he came home with a big box. "This is for you," he said. I opened the box. It was full of books. Books about teaching, books for children. "You said you wanted to be a teacher," he said. "You can study here. You are smart. You can do anything." He remembered my dream, my small dream, a dream I thought was lost forever. Tears came to my eyes, but these were happy tears. I looked at him. I saw kindness in his eyes. I saw care. "Thank you, Daniel," I said. "This is the best gift I have ever received." At that moment, I realized something. I was not scared of him anymore. I was not angry at my parents anymore. My life was not over. It was just different. I started to study every day. The books made me so happy. I felt like myself again. Daniel helped me. He would ask me about what I learned. He was proud of me. I could see it in his eyes. Our house started to feel like a home. I filled it with flowers from the garden. I cooked food that smelled like my mother's kitchen. I played soft music. It was not a cold, empty house anymore. It was our home. One evening, we were sitting in the living room. A fire was burning in the fireplace. It was warm and cozy. We were reading our books. It was quiet, a comfortable, happy quiet. I looked at him. He was focused on his book. The firelight danced on his face. My heart felt warm. I felt a feeling I had never felt before. It was a deep, quiet feeling. It was love. I loved this man, this quiet, serious man, this kind, gentle man. He was my husband, and I loved him. I put my book down. I moved closer to him on the sofa. I put my head on his shoulder. He was surprised at first. He looked at me. I looked back at him. I smiled. A real smile. He put his arm around me. He held me close. It felt right. It felt like I was finally home. Isabella, he whispered my name. It sounded so beautiful when he said it. Daniel, I said back. I am happy. Me too, he said, and he kissed me. It was a soft, gentle kiss. It was not a kiss from a stranger. It was a kiss from my husband, my friend, the man I loved. My life did not end on my wedding day. A new life began. It was a difficult beginning. It was full of fear and loneliness, but I learned something. I learned that life can surprise you. I learned that love can grow in the most unexpected places. You just need to have a little patience. You need to have an open heart. My parents said he was a good man. They were right. He was a very good man. He was my good man. Sometimes we think our life is over. We think our dreams are lost. I felt that way too. Maybe you feel that way sometimes. It is okay to feel scared. It is okay to feel lost. But do not give up. Life has a funny way of working out. A scary new beginning can turn into a beautiful story. My story is a happy one, and I believe your story can be happy too. Just keep going. You can do this.
Important phrases and their significance. I knew my life was over. This opening phrase establishes the story's initial tone of despair and finality. It reflects Isabella's perception at the wedding that her identity, dreams, and autonomy are being permanently extinguished by this arranged marriage to a stranger. They were selling my dreams for money. This blunt thought captures Isabella's feeling of betrayal and commodification. It highlights the harsh economic reality forcing her family's decision and the painful sacrifice of her personal aspirations, becoming a teacher for collective survival. I felt like a ghost at my own wedding. This powerful simile illustrates Isabella's profound sense of invisibility and disconnection. She is physically present at a key life event, but emotionally and psychologically detached, as if she is merely observing her own loss of self. We lived in the same house, but we lived in different worlds. This describes the profound isolation and parallel existence in the early days of the marriage. It emphasizes the emotional chasm between two strangers bound by contract, sharing a physical space but no intimacy or shared experience. He gave me a book. This simple act is the first turning point. It is a gesture of recognition and kindness that bridges the silence. It shows Daniel sees her as an individual with interests like reading and represents the first seed of connection, growing from shared quietude into communication. "You are bringing it back to life," Daniel says about the garden Isabella is tending, a garden that belonged to his late mother. This phrase operates on two levels, literally reviving the garden and metaphorically suggesting that Isabella's presence and care are bringing warmth and life back into the empty house and, by extension, into Daniel's own lonely existence. "He remembered my dream." This is the pivotal moment of validation and active support. By gifting her books on teaching, Daniel demonstrates that he has truly listened to her, values her aspirations, and is willing to help her reclaim the future she thought she had lost. It transforms their relationship from one of coexistence to one of mutual support.